Hey guys, hope you're well, and thanks very much for checking out another Friday Focus. Last week I shared with you how my week's training was going to look, and I just wanted to keep on keeping you in the loop with my training. Also, you might find some tips and tricks that you can find and start adding into your own training as well. But thanks very much for checking us out, and hopefully I didn't scare you away from last week as well. So let's just jump straight back in. So last week, I showed you how my training structure was kind of going to look out, and also shared on Coach's Talk. So hopefully you can see by this chart here. Pretty much a Saturday, I woke up and I felt really fatigued. I felt just when the onset of something is about to come, whether it be a cold or it just didn't feel right. So I did very little in terms of training. Just kind of moved around, did a few stretches, but nothing major. Really didn't. It wasn't RP of really anything, to be honest with you. It's pretty much a rest day. Sunday I went for a really steady run. And I say steady because I ran to my heart rate, even though my mind was saying run faster, and chasing the pace, as a few of my guys have been finding out this week. I was actually running to my heart rate, which was good in a way, because I was allowing an understanding of where I should be sort of sitting at in terms of 130 to 150 beats per minute, and I was generally averaged around about 150, to be honest, by the time I got to the end of the session. And it was a 8k run, so not a massive distance, but running on my heart rate meant that I was running at a fairly slow pace. So it meant I was kind of running at around about an 8.5 minute mile, I think it was, or something along those lines. But felt really comfortable throughout, and then finished off with a set of cleans, 30 reps on the 24s, and some swing snatch on the 32s, just 5 on the left, 5 on the right. So again, that, as you can see on day 2, the RP was fairly low. Then on Monday, it was ready for a new training, like microcycle. But rather than sort of jumping in and making it a really tough session from day 1, the way I'm doing it now is because I know the way I respond is I'm doing a session around about a 7 the day before a really heavy load. And the reason for that is because I felt when I've tried to do a heavy session, so a 9 and a 10, real fatiguing session off the back of something that's been a relatively low RPE, I just haven't found that my body's kind of excited and awake and alive. But also it's just that excitability there. So I just took it a little bit easier just on that day. Again, was just a matter of just doing a minute on, minute off with the 28s, the 30s and 32s, I think, something along those lines, without checking my diary. And then the following day, I then really ramped it up and did quite a lot of volume in terms of jerk, and tried to keep the pace around about 15 on the 30s. I kept it at 15 on the 28s, and it was around about 16 to 18 on the 24s. So after that, we did our tempo training. So that was a 1 round circuit, a minute on each exercise. It was our hip dominant and our vertical push and pull circuit that we do full body. That was really fatiguing, especially upping it and working on tempo of 2 and 2. That was a real bite, especially after the bells and stuff. So that really ramped up the RPE on that one as well. So the following day I dropped it right down, was simple 35 minutes of skipping, and then finished off with 3 minutes of cleans with a 32. So again, the RPE was around about 5, so not massive. Then I again jumped on the bells yesterday, it is. So I jumped on the bells, and it was a mixed combo session. So it was tough, but dare say probably could have pushed it a little bit more. I probably made it a little bit harder by just not chalking the bells or putting any chalk on my hands. So I just went with the bells rough and ready. So it wasn't a massive RPE session. Today is a matter of just mobility, concentric deadlifts and med ball slams. So again, RPE not so high on that. So overall, been a good week as well. Dropped a kilo in body weight, so I'm happy enough with that. So can't really complain, you know. So obviously last week I was chatting around the three areas that I was sort of looking at in terms of nutrition, recovery, and supplements. So I've, like I say, I've dropped a kilo of body weight, so I'm happy with that. It just goes to show that the deficit that I am in is ample. Really, really good. So obviously, Sai's done a really good job on working those out. I've upped my greens intakes and just foods in high in B12, and the reason for that is because I got my bloods taken, and one thing that came back was my B12 levels weren't quite optimal. So I've decided to really ramp up some of the food. So oily fish, mackerel being really high in B12, getting a bit more dairy into my diet and stuff. So again, that just sort of ramps up the sort of B12 intake that I'm getting. Hopefully we'll see a bit of a change when I get my bloods done again. So alongside my R5s that I've been taking consistently, I've added Load Up. So Load Up is a mixture of creatine, beta-alanine, citrulline malate. Again, free core supplements, like ingredients that I would highly recommend for kettlebell athletes to take. But that being said, I got the Load Up, and then completely, I don't even know how I did it. Matt's probably going to kick my ass for this. Good job he's down in London, but I completely forgot that I should have just bought the amino loader, because that's got everything else and a little bit more in abundance in there, and I did get fantastic results the last time I was using that. But yeah, Matt, that'll be on my next order when I put my order in for my R5s again, so apologies for that. And then obviously making sure that I'm just getting my high performance recovery training sets in. So the stuff that I learned from Joel Jameson, so a really, really high level performance coach, put me onto these, and they've been having a massive impact. And I know a few of the guys in the gym have been doing them as well. So it's just a matter of just trying to speed up that recovery. And we chatted through it on Coach Talk. So if you want to know a little bit more about high performance recovery training, check out the Coach Talk, and I just talked a little bit more detail. But basically, all I'm doing is I'm getting my heart rate high. I'm just trying to work on just getting that protein synthesis. I'm just driving my hormone levels, and again, just preparing myself for the next heavy training sessions that I've got coming up. So obviously, so looking into the week ahead, so looking at that, as you can see, this is my planned week ahead. So looking at day one, which is tomorrow, that's generally going to be around about a 7. That's what I'm going to be aiming towards. So this is where I'll try and push the boat a little bit. Sunday, I'm actually competing in a grassroots competition. So that's 5-minute lifts. It's going to be 30 kilo bells on all 3 lifts. So I'll be really pushing that out, trying to get my development days in that session. So on Monday, I plan to drop down. And then as you can see by the scale, that's how I'm going to sort of vary my intensity from them as well. Okay, so that's kind of the way it's going to be planning out. So, but I'll, like say, until it happens, we just don't know. I might get to day 4 or day 3 and have to make it a complete rest day, depending on how I'm feeling and stuff. That's just the way the body works. But hopefully by mapping it out, I can see where I need to adjust my calorie intake. And again, working alongside Sai, I'm able to sort of adjust things and make sure that they fit the type of training that we're doing. So as I've said, on Sunday, I'm taking the team down. There's quite a few of us going down from Two Nova, which is great. It's the first grassroots competition of the year. Real fantastic format, the way the guys are running it over at the grassroots. So basically, if you haven't seen them, it's a 5-minute competition structure, so triathlon, and this is a great way of letting people try new weights, or maybe it's their first competition, or for people like myself, it's just a great way of actually practicing competing without doing a full 10-minute set. It's just good to sort of lift in front of a judge and lift in front of people, but also just catch up with the great guys that are generally at these events as well. So really looking forward to that. So that's planned on Sunday, and again, that's where one of my development days is heading. And big focus is sleep. My sleep this week hasn't been great, and the reason for that is kind of just haven't been switching off. I've just been doing making the same mistakes as what I've done in the past, but kind of address those now and just making sure that I can sort of hit those as well. So that's one of the biggest focuses that I'm going to be looking at towards the week ahead, is making sure that I get them. So hopefully you've been seeing some of the videos I've been doing on the technique analysis, guys, and one of the things that I've been working on this week is obviously my jerk technique, and snatch technique is a like ever ongoing beast for myself personally as well, but it's starting to feel like it's really ticking in. But the week ahead, I'm really going to try and focus on nailing down that snatch technique as I transition into the heavier weights. So we'll give myself a little marker on Sunday to see how I handle the 30 kg for 5 minutes, see whereabouts I'm sort of, give me a rough guesstimate of whereabouts I'm at, if I'm a million miles away or if I'm not, which would be great. But check out those videos, guys, because I find there's been a lot of great feedback on them in the kettlebell community group, so which is great, and that's the reason why I do them. But also, if you've got a video that you want me to check out, then feel free to send it over. I won't be too critical. I promise. It's hopefully you'll find it really useful and helpful and stuff. But that's kind of the way my week's looking, and that's where I'm going to be focusing my energy. So just to recap, I'm going to be focusing on driving on my sleep. In my technique, I'm just going to keep on honing that snatch technique and predominantly the acceleration pull as I transition up to the heavier weights, and just keep on driving my supplementation and making sure I'm staying on track with my nutrition, because I have still got around about a kilo to lose. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm sort of in a deficit, but not too much where it is hampering my recovery and stuff as well. So I'll let you know how I get on next week, guys. But thanks very much for checking it out. Have an awesome week, and go and smash it. Speak to you soon.